We are back. Welcome to another episode of The Sweet Spot, brought to you by the Racing Post in association with SBK. The captain steered a steady ship once again. Scotty Scheffler wins the Open. Steve Palmer joins us. Magnificent again, the world's greatest.
Yes, Dave. Yeah, a thoroughly enjoyable tournament, but trying to be thankful for the place money, Dave. Obviously, Xander Schauffele and Robert McIntyre, our top two tips last week, both placed. So trying to be happy with that. Although I'm sure the Scottish Scheffler backers enjoyed the tournament a bit more than us. You know, it became a bit of a damp squib for anyone who hadn't backed Scheffler to win, if we're honest.
Indeed. Right, we're here, of course, on the Racing Post YouTube channel. Loads of content for you to get stuck into. Do get involved as well. Comment below, like, comment, share, the whole lot. Our friends at SBK, of course, got a concession for you as well. Open an account with them, bet 10, get £40 in free bets as well. You can follow Steve along with some free moolah there. Terms and conditions apply. Gamble aware. And, of course, 18 plus. BetSBK.com for terms and conditions. Steve, should we just jump straight into it? I mean, it was the Open, so we might as well just jump straight in. We can have niceties a little bit later on, a bit of banter, if you like.
We don't do niceties, Dave. I do not care how you are.
Scotty Scheffler, once again, I mean, you mentioned it being a damp squib. I've read loads of content since, and people suggesting that it's a bit boring. Once he's hit the front, it gets a bit boring. Middle of the fairway, middle of the green, one or two putts, and rinse and repeat. But we are looking at a great here, aren't we?
Yeah, you got to admire sporting excellence. You know, what a player, what a man. Day one, he looked a little bit vulnerable, didn't he? Day one, didn't have his best stuff, a few loose drives, but putted really well. I mean, the hope for anyone who opposed Scotty Scheffler that he would have one of those weeks where he doesn't putt well, but he putted really well. And, kept his score together in round one in the worst weather he faced all week. Yeah, that Thursday was the worst weather he had. It wasn't that bad, but compared to the from Friday onwards, he just played in perfect weather. He was able to control things. This is the thing about Scotty Scheffler. When he can control things, he can assert his superiority. He's the best player in the world. And you've got one of the fairest courses on the open rotor. I think it's widely considered a fair golf course. You don't get many crazy bouncers at Portrush. There's less of those random pot bunkers all over the place. So you got a fair links course, and then the weather was fair. So Scheffler was able to control things, and he thrives in those circumstances. So I'm kicking myself a little bit because we were big on the benign weather forecast last week, Dave, weren't we? We were well aware that this was going to be incredible weather for an Open. And then, in Scheffler would have been relishing that opportunity to not have so many variables thrown in.
Does the form line require a little bit of a squiggle here? Not next to Scheffler, of course, because we know how brilliant he is and he was a brilliant winner. But just in terms of a tournament on a links course that didn't maybe perhaps play like a links course.
Yeah, I think I remember Rory McIlroy popped up on one of the things I watched. There was some great YouTube content, wasn't there, during the week? And he was just turned to his mate and goes, "I wish the summers were like this when I was growing up." No, he couldn't believe how wonderful the weather was in Northern Ireland all week. And the benign weather forecast really helped the Americans, didn't it? It wasn't just Scheffler. You had 4 Americans at the top of the leaderboard there. Scheffler loved it. They all loved it. I'm not going to beat myself up about missing a general 5-1 winner, Dave. I have been toying with the idea of beating myself up for the reasons mentioned, because Scheffler really appreciated the benign weather. But I mean, 5-1. Do you think I should beat myself up, Dave?
No. Listen, anything he could have got arrested again. Like, anything could have happened.
Well,
let's give you. There was a lot of chat about Woods' record. I think his 8-shot victory, I think is the record in the Open. It was a 4-shot victory in the end, 17 under par. English 13 under par. Gotter up, another good showing from him, 12 under. Clark 11, Fitzpatrick, Calton Lee, Bobby Mack. I mean, your selection, Xander Schauffele, cream rose to the top. This was a quality field giving chase, but it was a chase in vain.
Yeah, and I think the top 4 being American is significant. I think that is weather related. I mean, Harris English really appreciated the benign weather. I mean, he had his putting coach as his caddy last week. We mentioned Harris English last week because we were running for the Scottish Open, of course, the week before. He borrowed Davis Thompson's caddy for the Scottish Open, but Davis Thompson needed Davis Thompson's caddy last week. So English was left with his putting coach as caddy. because his usual caddy wasn't allowed into the country for that historical drugs offence. So, English did really well. He putted really well, so having his putting coach as caddy, seemed to work. Chris Gotterup. I mean, Harris English surely going to be on the Ryder Cup team now. Chris Gotterup could be on the American Ryder Cup team. He's had an astonishing fortnight, hasn't he? The biggest win of his career in the Scottish Open, then third on his Open debut. And he was raised in New Jersey, Dave. So he would be a sort of local lad for the New Yorkers to cheer along. I think he could be a real asset. He'd be a brilliant four balls player, wouldn't he? So I think Keegan Bradley would be tempted by Chris Gotterup. I don't think it's beyond the realms that Chris Gotterup
would Steve Palmer be tempted?
Steve Palmer, if I was American Ryder Cup captain, which would be probably a more controversial choice than Keegan Bradley was. I'd be tempted to put Chris Gotterup in the team as a wild card, a really wild
You can't
wild
tell
card.
me there's not better players out there than him. You can't. I'm not having that.
I think it's a fascinating American Ryder Cup team. I think Keegan Bradley's got so many headaches, including his own selection, whether he's in the team or not. Wyndham Clark is back. He finished fourth last week, Wyndham Clark. So he's gone from smashing up the lockers at Oakmont in the last major. Yeah. He disgraced himself in the last major, smashed up the lockers, and then he's finished fourth on his Portrush debut. I was relieved he played so well, because if he'd smashed up the Portrush lockers, you can imagine there would have been a right furore.
He apologised again last week. He must be really sorry about it.
Well, he's slowly but surely getting the apologies out. But I mean, if he'd smashed up the Portrush lockers, Darren Clark would have kicked his head in. Darren Clark's a Portrush member. It would have been nasty. So we had all the Americans play well last week. Xander Schauffele. This is why I'm not beating myself up. I mean, I obviously had 2 place returns last week, which is better than having Scheffler at 5-1. But the point I'm making is Schauffele is definitely back. I mean, he hit the ball so well last week. I mean, he finished 7 shots behind Scheffler, but left so many putts in the jaws, so many lip outs, so many near misses. He definitely hit the ball well enough to win, did Xander Schauffele. Make no mistake, Schauffele, I mean, Gotterup would be thrilled with the last fortnight. I think Schauffele would be thrilled with the last fortnight. Found his game in Scotland, sustained it last week. Did you watch him coming down the stretch on Sunday?
I saw like a montage of missed putts from him.
Did you?
Some of them had gone in.
Yeah,
It could have been in the final group.
Absolutely, he was playing so well down the stretch on Sunday, just setting up birdie chance after birdie chance and missing all of them. So Schauffele is 100% back. Robert McIntyre, no regrets about supporting him. Brilliant links golfer. A links masterclass at times last week from Robert McIntyre. On the Friday in particular. On the Friday, he could have threatened the course record if the putter had behaved. He missed so many putts. So got the top 2 in the places, but both of them didn't hold their share of putts. So not beating myself up. I think McIntyre, stay patient. If you're watching Bobby, stay patient. I think you'll win an Open one day, which will be a wonderful day for us all. And then, obviously we had that fun with the first round leader. And I apologise to Sweet Spot viewers. We don't get the tee times in time for Sweet Spotters. But Racing Post readers got Jacob Skov-Olofsson, who gave us a real roller coaster ride over the first couple of days.
At a monster price as well. Don't be too modest, mate. A monster price.
Well, the good thing was obviously it's a really significant place return, and we got a 5-way share of the first round lead, and then obviously for Sweet Spotters and the rest of us, I had hopes that he would kick on from there and stay, hang around the leaderboard, and then at the start of round 2, he takes a snowman. Jacob Skov-Olofsson cards an 8 on the par 4 first in round 2. It really did suck the life out of me. I mean, he's out of bounds. He's out of bounds right, and he's out of bounds left. He's taking 5 off the tee and makes an 8. And I had my children's school fete. I had to go to my children's school fete about half hour after that, and not too bouncy around the bouncy castles, Dave. But we had some fun. We had some fun with Jacob Skov-Olofsson, and he's definitely a player to watch.
Right, let's talk about some of the others then. Rory, tied for 7th alongside McIntyre. What did you make of him?
I think Rory would be pleased with how it went. Obviously, he had the ghosts of 2019 to lay to rest. Missed the cut in 2019. Tears were shed. Loads of pressure on him. On that first hole on Thursday, massive pressure not to make the mistake that, he made a snowman like Jacob Skov-Olofsson back in 2019. So huge pressure on that first hole, which he got through. And then once he made the cut, I think he relaxed a bit. It was just a shame that Scheffler was so far ahead. He missed a lot of fairways early on, didn't he, McIlroy? Didn't drive the ball well early on, and that left him too far behind. But yeah, I think he's spoken a lot lately about having more fun. He wants to have more fun out of his life. A lot of these golfers, even Scotty Scheffler, being really introspective now and analysing whether they're actually enjoying any of this.
There's a great line from Bryson DeChambeau in Full Swing, the most recent season, in which he says, I have a great life. This is just a round of golf. And you just think, well, if they could all see it like that, you'd be watching PlayStation golf, wouldn't you? You've got to feel some sort of pressure.
Yeah. I mean, McIlroy would have felt pressure last week, but I think his overriding emotion at the end of the week would have been, I had some fun out there. Yeah, he's got the adoration of the Northern Irish public. Paul McGinley, it says he's the greatest sportsman the island of Ireland's ever produced, and I'd agree with him. Sonia O'Sullivan was a fantastic long distance runner, but I think Rory McIlroy is the greatest Ireland's ever produced, and I could just see that he had a lot of fun out there. I mean, it must be wonderful fun having your every move cheered all week, and I think Rory McIlroy took a lot from that mentally, even though he was obviously miles behind Scheffler like everyone else was.
What about Bryson DeChambeau, who just came with a withering run, if you like, to get back into it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously after the first round, I'm counting the money. 3-1 to miss the cut, looking a good bet at that time. But yeah, he's admitted he doesn't like playing in the Open when it's windy and there's rain coming down. He's not very good in the bad conditions. He holds his hand up to that. But from Friday onwards, obviously it was magnificent conditions, sun on his back and no wind, and he was able to fight back into it. It was a really gutsy performance. A lot of players would have thrown in the towel from that position, and he looked certain to miss the cut, and he come roaring back. I think he'd take a lot of heart from that, but I think he's still extremely vulnerable in wind and rain. But if he didn't get any of that. But he looked exhausted after the final round. It was a real manful effort to get back into it. We're discussing this week. He's obviously playing again this week, as a few of the Open players are.
Yeah. What about Jon Rahm? Let's chuck in Jon Rahm. You have to mention him. He was obviously up there. I'm just scrolling down. He's finished tied 34th, and he. This is a player who, what was he, third or fourth in the market, but never looked like being in contention, really.
Really well back third in the betting. Scotty Scheffler relatively friendless in comparison to Jon Rahm. A tidal wave of money for Jon Rahm on the back of that runner-up finish in LIV Valderrama. But we discussed last week that we felt that was, an overrated result. I think Valderrama did not go well for Jon Rahm because he left Valderrama disappointed in himself. He'd let all the home fans down. He had that shocking drive on the final hole. So, a lackluster performance last week from Jon Rahm. And, his backers would have been fuming. Never got a run for their money.
Do you think we'll see him back in the big time, Steve? He's good enough, isn't he, surely?
I suppose he's got loads of exemptions, doesn't he? I mean, if you're talking about getting him back on the PGA Tour, I don't want to get embroiled in golfing politics.
No, just back winning majors and things like the Open.
Well, he obviously got very close in the US PGA before that late finish. He's definitely good enough to win majors. He's a world-class, top-class player, probably still in the top 5 in the world. Of course he's got chances to win majors, but his preparation for majors is not as good as it used to be. I mean, I don't think there can be any debate about that. I had no interest in the LIV players last week because Valderrama before the Open is just stupid. Is Rahm going to get back on the PGA Tour? Are they going to merge? That's another 10-hour podcast.
We're not going down that road.
Well, just in conclusion, it just seems like nobody's interested in that anymore. It just seems to have given up on that idea, which has left the LIV players who perhaps thought that was an inevitability left in a bit of limbo now.
Where's Donald gone? I thought Donald was going to bring the world back together.
Yeah. Donald's got a few other big plates he's spinning. So it seems like the merger is on the back burner. These LIV players don't prepare well for majors.
Indeed. Anything else to add? Fitzpatrick, good showing from him.
Yeah, he did well, didn't he? He hung in there well. Another one, like, is he going to be on the Ryder Cup? Has he left his form improvement too late to be on the Ryder Cup? We got both the Ryder Cup teams, fascinating puzzles. Europe are much more settled. I think there's only 3 places really up for grabs in the European team. The American team, you could just throw them all up in the air and see who lands. I'm sure.
Okay. Well,
If
anything
you're really
else to
strong.
add, Steve? Anything else to add on the Open?
No, sir. No. Let's have a little look at the Barracuda. We've got 3 tournaments this week.
Right. Let's go to Barracuda then, and Sweet Spot's very own Dow Whitnell was I texted you, didn't I? Dow's tied for 7th going into the final round here. What's going on? Unfortunately, he did fall away a little bit. I dare not text him after the final round, but I texted him before it, wishing him good luck. But a very impressive winner nonetheless. Of course, points win prizes here, Steve, and talk us through the winner here, Ryan Gerard.
Yeah, Ryan Gerard ended up on 47 points, which is a decent score. He won on the Corn Ferry Tour last year, settled nicely on the PGA Tour this year. He was 8th in the US PGA in May. I think he was on everyone's shortlist for this, but yeah, he hadn't been putting very well. He's not a great putter. I wondered whether he could get to that winning score, but yeah, fantastic iron player. I just preferred others. Eric Van Rooyen backers will be disappointed because he loves this assignment. He was the winner in 2021. He's got the record score. He got 50 points in 2021. So I think Eric Van Rooyen would have had his supporters. He finished runner up. And for us, like Cameron Champ, I mean, just a crazy first 2 days from Cameron Champ. I mean, clear favourite after round 1. You're struggling to get double figure prices after round 1. He's open with 13 points on Thursday. He's the class of the leaderboard. He's in 4th place. And then Friday, just so disappointing. He's carded minus 6 points on Friday. He's opened up 5-7-6-5, and then he's made 14 pars. So I just feel like he must have got out the wrong side of bed on Friday. We've talked about how he's been an up and down character lately. Mental health issues. That Friday was just a bad day for him. So yeah, Cameron Champ's a really difficult puzzle for this week because he's playing again this week. And he was so encouraging in the lead up to last week. Can we trust him after that Friday effort in the Barracuda? It's a really difficult dilemma.
Have you got much to take away from this event, Steve? I mean, I was following Dow more than anything else. I just felt it was quite a difficult tournament to track, kind of. Just because maybe it looks different on the leaderboard. I don't know. You kind of work. I'm looking at the betting, thinking like, who's actually in contention here? Is anyone able to make a run? Yeah. It was tough to follow for me. Maybe just I don't know because it was a different format. I don't know.
Yeah, sure. I understand. Yeah, I mean, if you're 10 points behind, you're only 5 birdies behind, aren't you? So there was always the potential for someone come shooting up. Ricky Castillo and Pearson Coody were just on the fringes of things, and I was, if you get an eagle, you suddenly burst into contention. But no, you're right. It was a tricky old golf tournament. We've got a similar grade event this week, a little bit better actually, the 3M Open. But yeah, 3 fascinating puzzles this week, and I can't stress enough how excited I am by them. I've got some big prices this week, and I just feel like I've got a good handle on everything this week.
Right, well, let's get to it then. No rest for the wicked. Let's go. We are going to start, and I like to go chronological order. We're going to start with the seniors then. The Senior Open Championship, Sunningdale Old Course. Format here, Steve, is it the golden oldies? Is it 50 and above? And talk to us about the track.
Yeah, 50 and above. Yeah, 4 rounds, 72-hole stroke play. And we're at the Old Course, Sunningdale Golf Club in Berkshire, England. 6,682 yards, par 70. The only non-links track on the Senior Open Rota. This is a Heathland venue. It's hosted the Open 3 times before. 2009, 2015, 2021. Lauren Roberts, Marco Dawson, and Stephen Dodd were the 3 winners of those tournaments. Arguably the best Heathland track in the world. It's a revered course, this. And we've got generally calm and pleasant weather this week. Maybe some light showers on Thursday, but it gets better from Friday onwards. A field of 144 going to post.
Okay, right, the show here. We've got 2 players contesting favourites. I suppose Jeremy Podrick Harrington is market leader. Stephen Alker in there. Ryder Cup contender, Miguel Jimenez is in there. Ernie Els, 14-1 generally. Big price about him. Soren Kjeldsen, Thomas Bjorn, Freddie Jakobsen. Jerry Kelly is a runner as well. Bernard Langer is as big as a pony, 25-1 out there, Steve. How many in the team?
3.
3. Okay, I'm hoping we're going to get some nice big juicy prices. What do you got for us? Who's the main pick?
The main pick is Soren Kjeldsen. This is a course which emphatically rewards accuracy over power, precision, the key to success on the Old Course at Sunningdale. Soren Kjeldsen has built a long career on the European Tour based on supreme accuracy, finds fairways for fun, neat and tidy player, made for this assignment, and he'll have loads of course knowledge to draw upon, Dave. His base for much of his European Tour career was Ascot, and he lived in Ascot, less than 10 minutes from Sunningdale, bound to have had lots of practice at this track. I think he'll hit the ground running on an ideal layout and get his Champions Tour career off to a fly. You know, he's new to this. He turned 50 in May. He's already finished second twice on the Champions Tour. He lost a playoff to Miguel Angel Jimenez in the Principal Charity Classic last month. Then he finished second alongside Alex Chaker in the Champions Tour pairs event. He's been solid in the first few Champions Tour majors he's had. He warmed up with a closing round of 64 for 5th place in the Dix Open the week before last. He just looks primed to bolster what is already a fantastic record in the UK. His maiden European Tour title came in Scotland. His last European Tour title came in Northern Ireland. He was 9th in the 2016 Open at Troon. He's had 4 top 10s in the BMW PGA at Wentworth, which is not far from Sunningdale. If you're heading to Wentworth, you'll go past Sunningdale. I think he's a terrific wager this week. I think more success in the UK is coming for Soren Kjellsen.
That is music to my ears. I just want to back 50-year-old players for this. That's all I want to do.
Absolutely. And they even let him get his tour card before he was 50. He could play in the Champions Tour Q School when he was 49. So he only turned 50 a couple of months ago. This is a young buck in relative terms.
Okay. I'm not sure he's a young buck, but yeah, I know what you mean. Right. Right, here's the main pick. Who's next best?
Richard Green. Another player extremely comfortable in this part of the world. Green had a base in Bagshot in Surrey. That's 8 minutes down the road from Sunningdale. Green will have played Sunningdale countless times before. Like Kjellsen, he's done well in the BMW PGA at Wentworth. He's got 3 top 8 finishes to his name in that. Great UK record generally. He was 4th in the Open in 2007 at Carnoustie. 3-time European Tour champion. Like Kjellsen, his success is based upon driving accuracy, which is the key to success at Sunningdale. He's finished 7th and 2nd in the last 2 senior opens. Steady form in the build-up to this one. Fit as a fiddle. He's 54, Dave, but he's fit as a fiddle. He's always been in good shape. 6 foot 3 inches, slim line Aussie. Superb each way value.
Bag shots. Richard Green. That's what you get here on the sweet spot. You know, Steve is giving you how long it takes to travel. You know, what have you gone away there and searched A to B and it's come up with 8 minutes?
I know the area pretty well because I go to Wentworth fairly regularly to play at Wentworth, so I know the area. Do you know Bagshot? I know Ascot. Obviously, we all know Racing Post guys know Ascot more than we don't know Bagshot. But yeah, it's this lovely little area of rich people and rich golfers that use that as a good base because London airports are perfect for jetting around the European Tour venues. So Soren Kjellsen used London as his base. Richard Green used London as his base.
Well, it's not far from Heathrow, is it? Yeah, that's right.
Not far from Heathrow. So it gives you options. And yeah, these guys know Sunningdale at the back of their hand. Yeah, this course has been around since 1901. You know, it's an old classic. This, and yeah, I want players that are going to arrive and can hit the ground running. And these two are just obviously fantastic bets. I don't want to be overconfident this week, but I'm really excited about this week's wagers.
I like it. Right, we've got one more selection then. Who are we going for?
Yeah, we got another big price one there. Felipe Aguilar. Felipe Aguilar, who, like Kjellsen, came through the last Champions Tour qualifying school. So, like Kjellsen, a 50-year-old feels young and fresh in comparison to many of the grand old stages teeing up this week. Aguilar, like Kjellsen, like Green, has built his career on tee to green precision, and he's been a winner his whole life, this lad. He won twice on the Alps Tour in 2003, twice on the Challenge Tour in 2007, then twice on the European Tour. He's won millions of times in his homeland of Chile. His last Chilean Tour victory was in December 2023, so still mixing it with the young guys in 2023. Now his focus has become the Champions Tour, and he's already posted 5 top 20s in this his rookie season. He's finished in the top 20 in his last 2 starts. Now he comes to arguably the most suitable venue he's faced all year. He's posted 3 top 20s in the BMW PGA at Wentworth during his European Tour career. Another straight hitter on offer at a juicy price. Yeah, massively underrated in the betting.
Nice. Have we got a handle on motivation here for some players? Because surely there's going to be some in the field who are just playing because they love golf, and some who are still trying to earn a living out of golf.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a decent pot. The first prize is like $475,000 or something. It's worth winning this. Obviously, some players have had wonderful careers and they're millionaires. Other players, motivation is easier to work out. I mean, Podrick Harrington is your favourite this week. I mean, what motivation has he got? I much prefer Harrington on a links track. He's a dual Open champion, links master. This is a senior Open not being played on a links track. Pod was playing links golf last week. Did you notice how emotional he got on the first tee? I think it's quite a draining week for him. He was crying on the first tee because of the reception he got. And I just don't think he's got an edge at Sunningdale. So I can easily avoid Harrington. The toughest one of the market leaders to ignore is Miguel Angel Jimenez, because his record at Sunningdale,
making that run for the Ryder Cup, yeah, that's why.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's a few. They made me do the TikTok thing a few weeks ago, didn't they? And picking the Ryder Cup team, and obviously I threw Miguel Angel in there for a joke. Really, some people think I'm being serious. There's a couple of commenters said he's not long enough to get around Bethpage. You won't get it around Bethpage. So I apologise. It was just a little joke. Justin Rose was my actual experience selection. I was saying you need experience at Bethpage, and Justin Rose was my experience pick. I just threw Miguel Angel in there for a bit of fun. But there'll be plenty of people backing him this week. Seriously, no fun involved, because he was runner-up in the Open at Sunningdale. And in the last Open at Sunningdale, he was runner-up, and he was fourth in the one before that. So his last two Opens at Sunningdale, fourth and second. So we know he loves the course. It sets up well for him. He's another player that has based his career on precision. But he's 61. This is it's amazingly evergreen. This is why I'm surprised some TikTokers thought I was serious. This is a 61-year-old. This is a 61-year-old, and I just I just can't be backing a 61-year-old at such short prices when you got these 50-year-old spring chickens.
Yeah, I mean, interesting point about Harrington. I mean, I've cried on the first tee quite a few times myself, but it's usually after I've hit my tee shot, not rather than. But it must have taken a lot out of him.
It's all those Romford bets you're following on your phone, isn't it? I think it has taken a lot out of him. Yeah, because Harrington gets heavily involved off the course as well. Like, if anyone wants an interview, he'll have like 25 reporters saying, "Oh, let's go and interview Harrington," and he just talks for about 10 years on any question. He's the best interview any reporter can get. I think you're right. I think it took a lot out of him, and you back him on links courses because he's a links master. But Sunningdale, not so much his cup of tea.
Okay, 3 confident picks there. Should we move on?
Yes, sir.
Okay, right. We are. Well, how long's the 3M been on the PGA Tour for? This feels like obviously had lots of different guises, but been on the tour a while, this one. Yeah.
Since 2019, we've had the 3M Open since 2019. TPC Twin Cities, Blaine, Minnesota, 7,431 yards, par 71, 3 par 5s. Designed by my old uncle Arnold Palmer. Water is in play on half the holes, but the greens are big, large targets. Loads of rounds in the low 60s here. Hardly any wind in this week's forecast. It should be a birdie fest. The honours board full of powerhouses. Matthew Wolff, Cameron Champ, Tony Finau. Aggressive attacking players often thrive here. Field of 156 going to post.
Well, obviously not a long running one. If it's only... This wasn't called anything else before, Steve? Just 2019 it started? No.
This is the 3M Open since 2019. I often got muddled up and called it 3am Open. I was struggling to get the name right because there was an old column in the Sun newspaper about the 3am girls. So I struggled. I used to enjoy that column, talking about celebrities, what the celebrities used to get up to in the dark of night. But I've matured, and I've stopped reading silly columns. And I've got the name right now, the 3M Open.
I'm glad to hear it. Yeah, Steve Showbiz Palmer. Right, as you mentioned, powerhouses. There's quite a few near the top of the market here. Sam Burns, Maverick McNeely, Chris Goddard, Wyndham Clark. There's some massive hitters on there. Obviously, a weakened field. A week after a major. Some have travelled back and entered. Some haven't. Obviously, Chris Goddard being the obvious one there, second or third in the market. How many in the team?
3.
Okay, 3 and a 3 so far. Okay. Who's the main selection?
Michael Thorbjornsson. mighty Michael Thorbjornsson. We saw Michael van Gerwen in action last night. If you were watching the darts in Blackpool, now we're going to see Michael Thorbjornsson throwing darts at the flagsticks in Minnesota. You know how much I rate this guy. Such a strong driver of the ball. I think it's only a matter of time before he builds on what was a fantastic amateur career by becoming a PGA Tour champion. He tied second in the Punter Championship in April. We were on him when he finished fourth alongside Carl Phillips in the Zurich Classic Pairs event later that month. Had some injury niggles which derailed him for a few weeks, but his last three events, hugely encouraging. Fourth in the Rocket Classic, 21st in the John Deere Classic, 14th in the ISCO Championship. He's fit, he's firing, ideally suited to TPC in Twin Cities. He fired rounds of 66, 77 there last year after just turning pro. Still very raw. A year later, he's lost the rough edges. He's hitting it straighter. His course management is improving. He recruited a top-class caddy, JJ Jakovac. Colin Morikawa's losses, Michael Thorbjornsson's gain.
Yes.
We've been talking about this a lot. Morikawa made a mistake. Michael Thorbjornsson, very clever, got Jakovac straight away. I suspect Jakovac might enjoy more success with Thorbjornsson than he had with Morikawa. We're talking about a 23-year-old rising star here in Thorbjornsson, going places fast. I think his maiden tour victory comes on Sunday.
And he sends it as well. He sends it.
Oh, yeah. This is a phenomenal driver of the ball. And, I'm really excited about this one. We'll talk about our each-way treble at the end of the broadcast. But, Soren Kjelsen, Michael Thorbjornsson, chalk and cheese as golfers. But, one's ideally suited to Sunningdale, one's ideally suited to Twin Cities. Yeah, I got a good feeling this week.
Right, who's the next best for the 3M Open?
Kurt Kitayama, another powerhouse, another elite ball striker, about a decade older than Thorbjornsson, but with plenty of silverware to show for that decade. He's won twice on the DP World Tour, the Mauritius Open and the Oman Open. Then in 2023, Kitayama enjoyed the biggest title of his career, victory in the Arnold Palmer Invitational at Bay Hill, beating elite field. Rory McIlroy tied for second that week. Kitayama finished fourth in the USPGA that year. He's always had the tools from tee to green. Elite ball striker, but the short game can let him down. I'm prepared to take a chance this week that the putting will be good enough to contend, because I think he'll set up so many birdie chances. Made his 3M Open debut last year and finished sixth. He arrived at that event pretty knackered, Dave, because he played in the Open the previous week, 4 rounds in the Open. It looked like he was flagging in the middle rounds of that 3M Open, but sixth place, decent debut. This time, preparation is absolutely perfect. He was fifth in the John Deere Classic at the start of this month, and he closed with 13 points on Sunday in the Barracuda to shoot up to 14th place. Only 4 players outscored Kitayama in the final round of the Barracuda. He topped the greens and regulation statistics for the week. So I feel Kitayama comes with a ball striking guarantee this week, Dave. We just need a half-decent week of putting, and I think he'll be in the thick of things.
He topped the stats, did he? Greens in regulation.
Topped the greens in regulation stats, finished with a flourish. We just need a warming of the putter, and he's a surefire contender.
Are you always looking out for that, Steve? So you're looking at players that are not necessarily in contention winning, but how well did they finish, and can they carry that, the dreaded M-word, momentum into the next event?
Yeah, if you find your A game on Sunday, it's ideal. If finding your A game didn't come with being in the heat of the battle and being drained, even better. That's just an ideal prep for me. Obviously, not far to go from the Barracuda to here. The guys that are coming over from the Open, we'll discuss them. They top the market. They're not for me.
All right, one more to come then for the 3M Open. Who is it?
Hayden Springer. Hayden. One for the Jerry Springer fans there, Dave. You're probably too young to remember Jerry Springer. I used to enjoy
of course I'm not.
I know. Yeah, I used to enjoy a bit of Jerry Springer mid-time, but again, I've matured. I don't watch Jerry Springer. I don't think it's on it. Don't think it's on anymore.
That's up for debate, but yeah.
Hayden Springer completes my trio of long drivers. Springer is a great driver. He's also an excellent putter. I think that's a deadly combination for TPC Twin Cities. This is a 28-year-old, strong college career, won twice on the Canadian Tour in 2023. And then he suffered so badly at the end of 2023. His daughter died at the age of 3. Yeah, there can't be anything worse in life than losing a child. But only a month later, he earned a PGA Tour card at Q School. Yeah, it's one of the most impressive displays of mental toughness I've ever seen in the history of sport. To hold himself together a month later like that, and he's stayed on the PGA Tour ever since. He had 4 top 10s last year, 3rd in Puerto Rico, opened with a round of 59 in the John Deere Classic last year, David. I don't know if you remember that one. He started this year with 6th place in the Farmers Insurance Open. In his last 2 starts have been encouraging. 14th in the ISCO, 23rd in the Barracuda last week. This time last year, he'd lost his form a little bit. He finished 59th in the 3M Open on his debut. Not a bad effort given the way he was playing at that point, but this time swinging nicely in the build-up. The course suits, enormous price. There wouldn't be a dry eye in the house. I'd love to see Hayden Springer win this tournament more than any other.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that story, and you just want to see him win every week now. After hearing that, it's incredible.
That's it. I mean, he's obviously got perspective in golf in terms and mental fortitude. Yeah, if that happened to me, you wouldn't see me on a golf course for years, But a month later, he's winning a tour card. Incredible effort.
Yeah, indeed. Right, they are the 3 picks then from Steve for the 3M Open. Let's talk market leaders. Sam Burns, Maverick McNeely.
Yeah, Sam Burns has been playing well without winning. He hasn't won a PGA Tour Stroke Play event since May 2022. For a player of his quality, that's a huge victory drought. 4 rounds at the Scottish Open, 4 rounds at the Open, long journey home from Northern Ireland. Yeah, I can live without him at the short odds. And it's the same deal with Maverick McNeely. I mean, obviously they can both score well at this course, but Maverick McNeely, Sam Burns, 4 rounds at the Scottish, 4 rounds at the Open, 8 rounds of links golf in a different time zone and then travelling back. I just don't see they have the mental energy, the zest for...
Well, it's not just that, Steve, but you dare I say, only getting sort of 20 to 1 about the pair of them. It's not as if they're prices that they usually go off at, 80s, 66s, whatever. Sam Burns is 12 in a place.
Yeah. I just got question marks over there whether they'll have enough zest, enough spunk for this assignment. So, I much prefer my guys that have a much more ideal preparation.
What about the man of the moment then, Chris Gotthardt? I'm sorry, he's a bit spunky at the moment.
Yeah, I would agree with that. He's dripping in spunk because I just cannot believe that he wants to play. He must be exhausted. I mean, he's at the fortnight of his life, but he will realise that it's actually astonishing how low he is in the Ryder Cup standings. I mean, you'd think he'd be because Scottish Open's a massive event. He's won that.
Yeah, I suppose what else has he done? Yeah.
He's still miles behind in terms of automatic qualification. So I guess he's just chasing Ryder Cup points, but I think he must be jaded. As I say, much prefer my 3.
Right, should we move on then to the livers?
Yes, sir. We're going for the LIV hat-trick. We've had the winner of the last 2 LIV events, so very excited.
Okay, right. Well, where are we then, Steve? We are in the UK still, so a lot of these players have been able to stay over. That's a good start.
We are not far from where you are now, Dave, I would suggest. JCB Golf and Country Club, Staffordshire, England, 7,301 yards, par 71, 3 par 5s. The JCB took over as LIV UK venue last year. John Rahm won the tournament, 13 under par. Sets up well for long drivers, generous fairways, 2 drivable par 4s. We got relatively calm and pleasant weather coming. A field of 54 going to post, no cut. Place your bets by 1:05 p.m. on Friday.
Beefy Bryson for me this week in the livers. I like this. Right. How many selections here, Steve?
3.
3, 9 each way trebles across the 3 tournaments. Who is the main selection then?
The main selection is David Puig. Sweet spot regular, one of the best players on the LIV circuit, in my opinion. Certainly one of the most promising youngsters. Certainly good enough to become a European Ryder Cup star. I'd much rather have David Puig in this year's European Ryder Cup team than I would his Fireballs captain Sergio Garcia. Lots of talk about Garcia being on the team. I think, David Puig is a 23-year-old with enormous potential. He's already won twice on the Asian Tour. He dazzled DP World Tour fans when he arrived on that circuit last autumn. Third in the Spanish Open, fourth in the Dunhill Links, third in the Ras Al Khaimah Championship, fourth in the Bahrain Championship. So been appearing on DP World Tour leaderboards. He's come close to winning LIV events. He was fourth in LIV Greenbrier in his first season, third in LIV Houston last season. He's twice finished fourth this season. He's played in 9 LIV events this season, Dave, and has finished in the top 20 in all of them. And this week's assignment seems ideal for me. Puig is massive off the tee. Nobody has made more eagles on the LIV circuit this season than him. And the JCB provides lots of eagle opportunities, Dave. You've got those 2 drivable par 4s, 3 par 5s. And the back problems appear to be behind him. He had to miss LIV Virginia at the start of last month because he had a sore back. But he's played in the last 2 LIV events, 13th in Dallas, 19th at Valderrama. He also played in an open qualifier, final qualifier, 64 to go to lead that qualifier, 78. Tied 9th, just missed out on the Open. He was 11th in the BMW International on the DP World Tour later that week. So clearly fit again, been playing a lot of golf. He's had a nice week off since Valderrama. Doubtless been getting plenty of rest. Yeah, doubtless been getting plenty of massage on that back. So yeah, you've got lots of players coming to the JCB this week, like the fella that you've got your eye on, drained from the Open. Puig, fresh, hungry. I see a maiden title on Sunday. Played in the JCB last year and finished 11th. I think he'll go even better this time.
Nice. I can dig that, Steve. I can dig that for the JCB Puig.
Like
he's the main pick. Who's the next best?
Adrian Meronk, another strong driver who can overwhelm the JCB. Finished 16th there last year when still settling on the LIV circuit. This season, he started it with a victory. He won the first LIV event of the year in Saudi Arabia. His form tailed off a bit from there, but a solid weekend at Valderrama. He finished 15th in Valderrama, played really well over the weekend. I think that would have boosted his confidence. The last time we saw Meronk in a non-LIV event was on the Asian Tour at the end of March. He finished 6th in Macau. He's not been in the spotlight much since winning LIV Riyadh in February, the first LIV event of the season. But I think he's just got the perfect game for the JCB. Always been a brilliant driver of the ball, and that weekend in Valderrama was eye-catching. He likes teeing up in the UK and Ireland. His maiden DP World Tour title came in the Irish Open. He finished 3rd in the 2021 British Masters. So, yeah, enormous price, about a genuine title threat for me.
I like it. Yeah, he's a huge price. Huge price. Right, one more to come then. I'll make it. Yeah, one more to come.
Yeah, sure.
I'm assuming it's an even bigger price.
It is slightly bigger, and it's Peter Uihlein, another power pack driver who can take advantage of this setup at the JCB. He's 5th in the LIV driving distance stats this season, 7th in the putting stats. Great combo for the JCB. He was 14th there last year. This season, just been sort of mid-division consistency on LIV. But at the start of this month, he impressed on the Asian Tour. He was 3rd in an Asian Tour event in Morocco. He won twice on the Asian Tour last year. And one of those wins was in England, funnily enough. The Asian Tour had this international series, and one of them was at Fox Hills in Surrey. And Uihlein won that. He travels really well, this lad. He was an effective DP World Tour player back in the day. He's been runner-up in Wales on the DP World Tour. He's been runner-up in Scotland on the DP World Tour. A 35-year-old, still got plenty to offer. He's way overpriced for this one. You're getting 3-figure prices about a former world number 1 amateur, Dave. I mean, what an offer that is.
Yeah, do you know what? While you was giving your reasoning there, I was scrolling down, and I had to scroll a long way to get to him. He's massive, massive prices. I went for a period of backing him because when he did emerge, he looked like he was going to be a bit of a force.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think he's an underachiever. I mean, his bank manager certainly wouldn't think that. He's got enormous riches. But 35 is, he's still got so much to offer at the age of 35. And I think the market this week is just dominated by the big names. I mean, they're in the spotlight. All the casual punters have been watching them in the Open last week.
Do you need me to talk you through the first 4 in the market, or can you guess?
I can guess who they are, but you notice that 2 are significantly shorter than the other 2. I mean, your eyes already lit up when I mentioned the name of Bryson DeChambeau, but it must have been such an exhausting week for him. He's battling to make the cut. he
just trying to get out
engages.
the rough. I think in the first round would have been exhausting for him.
Absolutely, but even the practice rounds are exhausting for him because he engages with the fans, isn't he? He's a total opposite of Scotty Scheffler. You got Scotty Scheffler that turns up, does his job, doesn't he just doesn't want any spotlight on him. He just obviously he can't help getting the spotlight now because he's winning everything, but he hates being in the spotlight. Just does the bare minimum, finds Meredith, heads off. Bryson DeChambeau, YouTube hero of yours, and many others, like he fully engages. He doesn't just treat it as a tournament. He treats it as a whole experience, content. Every week's content for him, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I've seen him in practice rounds, and the fans are saying, "I'll do another drive," and he went back and did another drive. Like he's fully
Performing
engaged with the
seal.
fans.
Yeah.
He is like a performing seal, and I just think that must be tiring in itself. And then to battle back from a pretty humiliating start like he did. As I say, I looked at his interviews after the tournament on Sunday. He looked absolutely spent force. Don't forget he played LIV Valderrama prior to that. So he's played 2 tough golf courses over the last fortnight. Entirely different assignments to what he faced at the JCB. I mean, this is the course that suits him better than those 2. But I just wonder whether he's fresh enough and hungry enough for LIV UK. And I would say
He'll
the
be
same.
all right. It's only 3 rounds of golf. He's a fit chap. He'll be all right. He's going to send it. He's going to send it.
Yeah. Obviously, he's got a good chance, but it's such a short price.
Who would
I got
be
no
of
interest.
the front 4, the big 4, if you like, in the market? Who would be sort of the best chance for you?
I mean, I suppose Rahm. I suppose Rahm is the defending champion. But he's so disappointing last week. Choked at LIV Valderrama. He'd be keen to get some silverware, wouldn't he? He's John Rahm. He was heavily punted last week, and he hasn't won anything this year. It was a surprising gamble for me. But obviously, he's the defending champion. If he can get his head right for this, then obviously it should be there or thereabouts. But I respect the top 2 in the market, but I just don't see any value in the top 2 in the market. And I think my 3 represent the better value.
Well, I'm definitely going to be backing Peter Uihlein. That's a great shout. I love the lines of form in the UK. That's quite interesting.
Yeah. Peter Uihlein, travels well. You're getting 3-figure prices about a genuine title threat.
And a former amateur world number 1. Right. SBK, our friends at SBK, 25% winnings boost as they do every week. Tournament selected this week is the 3M Open. So I'll drop that in for you there. You can get your free bets, get your winning boost before we get a roundup from Steve. Before we do the roundup, did you have a chance to live any sort of life last week, Steve, outside of the Open?
It was one of the most testing Opens I've ever had in that respect, actually, because there was so much going on. I mentioned that school fete shortly after Jacob Skovolosson's Snowman. But then also there was my daughter was involved in quite a big dance show over the weekend that I had to go and watch my daughter in action. So there were times where fitting the Open Championship around family commitments, but that's the way it is. I'm like the Scotty Scheffler of the golf tipping world. I honour my family commitments. Family first, golf second. Me and Scotty share that philosophy. But when I was watching the dance show in the early stages of the final round on Sunday and wondering when it was ever going to end. It's watching the other children that are not yours, isn't it? Like my daughter was in certain parts of the show, and there was other parts of the show. There had long spells when I'm watching total strangers doing, like voulez-vous, and I'm just checking the smartphone. Just I really shouldn't be here. So tricky business juggling it all, but another Open in the bag. As I say, I think it was a decent result. 2 place returns is better than backing Scotty Scheffler. I'm not beating myself up, Dave. My daughter had a very successful dance show. Everything's rosy, and I just feel ridiculously positive about this week, Dave. I can't imagine this week not going well. I don't know as Paul Gascoigne used to say, get well soon, Paul. It must have been 7 to 8. I just feel I'm buzzing. I feel I'm buzzing, boss.
Good, brilliant. I love to hear all the confidence oozing out of you, Steve. That's beautiful. Right, tipping roundup then. 3 events. We'll start with the Golden Oldies, the Senior Open Championship.
Soren Kjelsen, Richard Green, Felipe Aguilar.
3M Open.
Michael Thorbjornsen, Kurt Kitayama, Hayden Springer.
And the livers.
David Puig, Adrian Moronk, Peter Uihlein.
So, right, we have got 3, 3, 3, 3, 9, what we at there? 27. 27 each way treble, Steve. Talk me through sort of what we're looking at here. I'd hate to ask you, but like your strongest pick of the week?
Well, the each-way treble is the one that excites me most. Get as many places as you can on the each-way treble. Soren Kjelsen, Michael Thorbjornsen, David Puig. I think that's a wonderful each-way treble. Strongest bet of the week is a tricky one. I think I'd go Soren Kjelsen. I think he's ideally suited to that course. You know, I think that the Senior Open is the one to perhaps have your biggest bet on, because I can't see Soren Kjelsen failing to contend in that. If you want to make it a quad, throw Luke Littler to win the dance in. I think Luke Littler.
I was going to ask you. You obviously dropped in MVG. What's going on, and what are the wagers that we can get involved in?
Well, I've been on Luke Littler since the start of the match play. I was delighted to see Luke Humphries get knocked out early. I don't really see anyone troubling him. Perhaps Gerwyn Price is the biggest danger in the semi-finals, but I think Luke Littler's going to lay the ghost to rest. Rory McIlroy was laying ghosts to rest last week at Portrush. Luke Littler had ghosts to rest at the Winter Gardens after the first round defeat last year on his debut. So Luke Littler is pumped to the nines. He's actually been practicing. When Luke Littler practices, he's virtually unbeatable. He doesn't usually bother. He eats into his computer game time, but he's actually been practicing for this. He's so motivated. If Luke Littler wants to win, I think he does, and he wants to win this week. So add him into your multiples.
Give it a green light and all that. Let's go.
Absolutely.
Right, there's all sorts of wagers, cross-sport, doubles and trebles and quadruples that we can have there, so I love all of that. Right, that is it then. We'll of course, be back next week. Steve, as ever, it's been a pleasure. You out there, remember to enjoy the golf, gamble responsibly, and we'll see you next time.